Welcome back to Asgard, and welcome to episode 24 of our Infitech 2 modded Minecraft Let's Play series. I've been quite busy since last episode. You'll notice a lot of missing machines and stuff. I'm still in the process of organizing them. I've been quite busy with back in here. If you notice, I have machines organized here. This is mainly machines. Granted, you know, machines a lot of times have multiple purposes and stuff, but this is pretty much machines that are related to creating machine parts. And then I have over here I have the X.A.C.T crafter and stuff set up over here with our tools. This is stuff I still have to go through. Then back in here I have stuff that's related to kind of like ore processing, our chemical bath, ore washing. All this stuff works now. I have it set up with the 2x10 cables down below there, and you can actually see it here. And there's a couple of the gas turbines running, and keeping these filled up with power. I have been making a bunch of copper, nickel, and invar, and I believe we've got some. Yeah, we've got some invar in here. We'll go ahead and get this making plates and stuff. Let's see. And I've been doing a bit of reading. Let's see, how many plates do we need for this? Actually, because today we're going to be working on the blast furnace, which seems to be quite a big undertaking, to say the least. Let's see, we're going to need 9. Okay, yeah. So I'll just make... yeah, we'll go ahead and start with 53 of these. Still getting used to where all the machines are. Let's see, plates are circuit 1, aren't they? Let me double check that. Yes. Okay. I wanted to make sure I was doing a bit, moving things around. I wanted to make sure I still had the right circuit in there. So we're going to need a ton of those plates. We're also going to need these Invar frame boxes, and for 2 of these it's 8 of these Invar rods. So we can make these in the not in the lathe. Let's see. Okay, in the extruder we'll need the shape rod, the rod shape. Let's see here. That's pretty much the same thing. So we're going to use this recipe. The extruder, the shape rod. Okay, let's make that really quick. I did forget to make that. And then we'll get to covering all the good changes and stuff that have been made. Put that in there. Okay. And there we go. Put that back. Now we'll need, what is it, the hammer and the file, I believe. Is that, that's not, okay, that is. And, no, this one. Okay. So, actually I think I had steel plates I'd made up over there. My bad. So we'll get our shape plate, and then, let's see. It's the wire cutters. Okay. That and that. We'll get our rod pattern. So we'll go ahead and throw this in the extruder. I still need to set up a chest over here for holding all of our, let's see, 8, 2, we'll do, let's see, 9 of those. Well, we'll start with 24 of them. No? No. I got something wrong, didn't I? Is it the plates that go through? No. Oh, we need a lot higher voltage and stuff. Okay. I'll have to make those the manual way then. I do believe. So, in that case, oops. Looks like probably the file. Well, we might make it with the lathe because we'll get those small piles of Invar dust. So it'll be a little bit better for us, I guess. So we're going to need a bit more of those. Okay. So we'll run through and let me check something. We should go ahead and throw that copper nickel into the wire mill as well because we are going to need a bit of that. We'll start with 32 and see where that gets us. And I was doing a bit of reading on the blast furnace. There's a lot involved with that. Like, we're going to have to get MV power and quite a bit of it too. From what I was reading, we're going to have to use like 3 different hatches and to input the power in. And so I went ahead and prepped a bit of basic gas turbines because from what I read, if you're going to power it, for one, you want to make sure that you don't run out of power mid-processing because it is going to destroy the product that you're working on if it runs out of power in the middle of it. And then in addition, it does require a lot of power. So they suggested 5. I went ahead and did 6. That way we have 2, 2, and 2 for the 3 different hatches. But we'll get to that once we get there. If you notice, I did start working on this area a little bit. Oh, I put these in wrong. I'll have to fix that. Those are supposed to be those tank blocks. Or corp, I mean. Yeah, I just have to chisel them. It's not an issue. But I did start putting in the ceiling. I'm not sold entirely on the design of the gates. I kind of want to do some kind of accent around the top. The only thing is it's hard to do that with the carpenter's wedge slopes because otherwise you end up with like kind of jagged look to the accents. So I don't know for sure if I'm going to do it with micro blocks or what. But it's mainly corp and oh, I can't think of the name of it. It's the one made with gold. For that, and I actually to set that up, I pillared up there and I started trying to build it, right up underneath it, and then I realized it's just hard to tell, how anything looks or anything. So I ended up breaking out the cobblestone at the second floor and building it up there, and whatnot. So, and then over here, I did start running some dirt so we can start getting this grass kind of spreading. But, I want to start landscaping this central area. I'm not entirely sure over, in between these sections of the house how I'm going to do that. I thought about doing it like some kind of a fencing or wall or something right through there. But I'm not entirely sure just yet. And then over here I did start doing the IC2 crops. So we've got those growing. I'm going to start breeding them here probably after this episode. These are actually really good seeds, by the way. They're like the red mushrooms that we've got are like 545 or something like that. Pretty decent seeds. I was kind of surprised. But yeah, this is the main area that I worked in, and if you notice, I also worked on the ceilings through here. I'm not entirely sure if I like it. Definitely let me know what you think in the comments. I mean, I like the spruce wood, but at the same time I think the Sakura planks are a little bit light on color, so I don't know. I'm still debating on it. So let me know what you think, and then I've still got to finish up the making that flush at the top. So I was kind of figuring out how I wanted to do it and everything. If we come back here, let me check these. This is done. And that's still running. Okay. And we got 64. And we need how many of these? I think like 9. No, we need 6. Oh yeah, it's 2 layers of that. And I believe the middle's hollow. So, and I believe it's all, let me double check. It's all 2 times 8 per. So I don't think 64 is going to be enough on that. Oh no. Nope. We're still a long ways off. So let me go ahead and throw more of that in there. I might even have to make more. I felt like I made a lot of that stuff. Right here I did set up another coke oven, and I just have them pumping creosote out into these drums, so we kind of have like a buffer to hold up all that creosote. And then I also have just item conduits set up here to pump out coal. I don't have connected because naturally we're not going to get coal from a coke oven, but I just wanted it set here so that it's kind of more, all of our coal is here centered. And it's going to pump out whenever it makes charcoal with wood, which I had those running wood, but they finished. When it makes charcoal or when it makes coal coke, it's all going to pump out, which actually most of this coal coke I actually got from chests. So that we had kind of built up. But it's going to pump them into those barrels and keep them stored for us. Now back here, we'll cover this side first. I started setting up storage. I've still got a lot to move over. But I've just got a little bit of stone on hand. Basically, we have a whole barrel of stone down there. But most of the stuff is just stuff that I had a bit of. So I started moving it first, like different woods and stuff. You notice we have 466 cocobolo. I've been using that wood a lot for my carpenter's blocks and stuff because it actually produces a ton of wood because it's such tall trees. And, of course, the X.A.T.C axes cut down the whole tree in one go. So it's actually a really good one to use for your general wood needs. And then this is all still ores that I have to process. I did process a lot of iron and tin. Oh my gosh, I processed so much tin. If you notice, we have 619 tin now. So, and I used a bit of it too, but we had so much built up. And I did add a couple upgrades in this, if you notice, just so we have more capacity on that as well as this, because before I started using all this nickel for copper, nickel, and Invar, we actually had a lot of nickel. We don't have that much anymore. But and then I have the gem set over here. Now the reason this is out a little bit is our processing system actually pumps our ingots into these. And right now I have them set up on different priorities. So we've got 20, 19, and so on. So that way, which I haven't set up the back end of this yet, but we still got a ways to fill these up, so I wasn't too concerned about that. Let me actually go ahead and change that over. Can't remember what was in that. Oh, that was Invar that we grabbed. But that way it doesn't just like start throwing ingots wherever, because it does tend to do that otherwise. And this is pretty much the same system that we had. This chest is set up to pump into these alchemical furnaces with basic item filters. So this one only accepts iron, and this one only accepts candleberries and wax combs. And then I have different arcane alembics here that are labeled. So only Fabrico can go here, only Messis can go there, and then the Ordo comes through here. And then I have multiple jars set up for the Ordo, so that way we can kind of build up a buffer. So we don't have to, once these are full, we don't have to constantly get wax comb and stuff, since it's not fully automated just yet. And then this one's pretty much the same, but it's just for metallum, which I didn't put as many buffer jars in there, but that's because those ingots only produce metallum, so it's not an issue to, stock that. Once this alembic and this furnace is full, it's only metallum, and it's quite a bit of metallum. So, so that's pretty much how I have that set up. That way we can just throw it all in the same chest. And then right here you can throw the metals in. Let me grab something here. we can use to show you guys that. What do we want to process in here? Most of the stuff's all... I'm kind of holding off on just processing everything right now because we've got the chemical washer, and I know some of the materials and stuff you do want to process specifically in the chemical washer when you're looking for certain things and whatnot, so I'm kind of holding off on it. I mean, the tetrahedrite, the chemical washer and stuff's not as much output for that specific material as this setup is, but you know, there is those byproducts that we can only get that way. So if you notice it's kicking through those, now it will exhaust some steam and stuff out of these pipes whenever it starts to kick on, but then it'll start flowing a bit better and, you know, kick in. And I wonder why it's not processing all this stuff. Oh, that would be why. That's one thing you got to watch out for. Stuff like aluminum can't be processed in the electric furnace, so you know, that kind of creates a little bit of an issue. I'm just going to throw that in there for now. But basically it's going to get this stuff, and I know cinnabar has to be straight smelted and not crushed, but it shouldn't, that kind of stuff, it shouldn't pump in the macerator. So basically it'll pump it out of that chest into the macerator. It's going to get macerated and then cooked in the furnace and then sent through to this chest. And then, of course, from there, gets sent out. So, and I went ahead and used the chest as a buffer just so once these are filled, if we get a new ingot, you know, it's not going to get just stuck in the electric furnace. So I should probably put a buffer between the macerator and the electric furnace so that stuff like that aluminum doesn't happen. That's the only place I haven't put a buffer, and I kind of regret it. So, but yeah, that's pretty much what I've been working at. It's been quite a bit of work. Can't deny that. But I think it's going along pretty well. Let me grab my wrench. I know we're going to need that. So we'll go ahead and get this. Now, from what I've seen, this blast furnace is very, very expensive. And I know eventually they suggest we upgrade these copper nickel coils to something a bit more powerful. So that is something we're going to want to keep in mind and try to work towards in the future. Let me see. We need, what, 5 more of these? Yeah, so 10 is 80. 80 of these? Okay. 80 more wires. That sounds wonderful. Okay. No. So get that going. I might actually cut camera here because this is going to take a little while to process. But let's take a quick look at these small piles. We can turn those back into Invar dust and probably just cook them. I'm assuming would be the best way to handle it. Yeah. And then we can just cook that into Invar. So, I mean, as far as resources, you know, we're getting back a big chunk of what we're using, so it's not too bad. We'll throw this, there we go. This is an additional macerator, because that way we have like a personal use one and then one for our system, so it'll definitely help us out in the long run, I think. But, let's see. Then we'll need this electric blast furnace block, 3 circuits, a couple 10 cables, and this heat-proof machine casing. These are so expensive. Tell you what, I think I'll go ahead and cut camera, and I'll work on this for just a minute and try to get all this stuff together, and then I'll be back in just a little bit. Okay, welcome back. So I've got all the stuff we need now. Go ahead and grab a stack of this because we'll need to make a few electric or basic furnaces for this block. How did it... Huh. I didn't make 16 of these. Okay. There we go. Now we got 16 of them. I did pretty much use up... I mean, I've got 16 copper nickel left. Which that was 2 stacks. So you'll need, what, a stack and 48 of it. So quite a bit of that. Well, actually that was in addition to, I think, the 16 that we made last episode. So you're looking about 2 stacks of copper nickel. So a stack of iron, or a stack of copper and a stack of nickel. So we'll need 3 furnaces. And then we should be good to get this crafted. Oops. And that's got the last part of that. So, energy input. Energy hatch component for X.A.T.C multi-block structures. Comes in different tiers. At this point, you'll only be able to just make the LV energy hatches. Probably notice that for smelting, steel and aluminum, you'll need higher voltage than an LV. Hatch will safely accept. In this case, you'll need to use multiple energy hatches to effectively boost the voltage to a higher voltage. For example, for smelting steel, you need 120 EU a tick, so with 4 LV energy hatches, you'll be able to accommodate this requirement. Of course, you need to bear in mind the energy loss on cables, so it recommends that provide each energy hatch its own battery buffer, or have 1 buffer support 2 hatches with no more than 2 cables. Okay. Great. Okay. So they want us to make this guide to the electric blast furnace. Oh, that's okay, how do we make this? No. I have a feeling I'm not gonna like the recipe. Yeah, okay. What? What is this madness? Okay. So, I guess we're gonna have to make an extra one of those and a book. Well, we'll make this first and see what happens in the assembler, and we're gonna need squid ink. Okay. So, alright. So I think I've got some squid ink, yeah. And then this, oops. And we'll need a book. Okay. I should have some paper. Oh. I'll remove that. I need to just put another crafting table over here until I get my stuff organized. Okay. So let's do that. And then how are we going to get that squid ink? Okay, just in the fluid extractor. It's fine. I've got a fluid tank in here. And I believe that just one of these will be enough to make our book. Okay, let me grab my my Yeta wrench real quick. Oh, too far. I was still getting used to the way everything's laid out, so apologize. Okay. And the assembler. Oh, it's still got all that molten tin in there. Let me... I've got plenty of tin. I'm not worried about the tin. Let's not throw the books on the ground. Set that back up. And we'll set this on top. Okay, so we got our squid ink in there. Here we go. This is actually... Oh, it doesn't break it. Okay, thank goodness. I was like, man, we're going to have to make another electric blast furnace. Alright. Really, it's not too bad, but we're going to need those casings, so I don't really want to use them up. So that's what we're going to make. I pretty much saw this when I was looking on the wiki, because I was trying to get ready for this episode. An electric blast furnace, there's a lot involved with it, I guess, so I wanted to look into it. And I was kind of curious to see if it produces like a heat to the point that we can't put it into here, but I did notice our ceilings are only 4 blocks high, and this does require an air block above it, so I'm probably still going to end up putting it up down there. Eventually we'll move into the factory area, so you know, I'll hold out on that. So well, that's actually not bad. I was expecting it to be like really expensive. Okay, do we have... I've got 3 of these. Awesome. Okay, let me change out... Well, you know what? I'll leave that. And I think I've got the plates. Yeah, I've got the plates in here for that. Go ahead and move this chip out. Oh. No. No, no, no. There we go. And I'll grab this one. Oops. And I think I'm going to need one more plate. Not too big of an issue. I need to make some more of these anyway. I probably should have grabbed more. 6 isn't really going to be enough to do anything with it, but it'll get us through this craft anyway. Alright, so let's get this, and then we're going to need a steel plate for this. Easy enough. Let me grab my wrench back here. And then we're going to want to... Why can I not... What the hell? Okay. No. Other way around. There we go. So we've got those. And now we can claim our reward. So we got, oh wow, we got nickel, tin, and steel. A decent amount of each of them, so I will definitely take that. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and throw this copper nickel in here as well. So let's see. I don't know if we want to set up the battery buffers. Let me see here. The main thing that I want to make with this, I'm not so worried about making the steel, because our blast furnace right now, I mean, we've got tons of steel. I'm not too worried about the steel. But what I am curious about is the aluminum. This one? And is there one to just make with, yeah, centrifuged? Is there just aluminum? There we go. Aluminum dust. We're going to need 120 EU a tick. So 20, honestly I think if we put these right up on there, we wouldn't necessarily need the battery buffer. You know, with 4 of those. Now originally I made 6. I misread it that I was thinking we could change over to the MV with a transformer is what I was looking at doing. Doing this and inverting it. what I was thinking. Yeah, we should be able to do that. I would think if we made a low voltage transformer, connected two of the two of the turbines straight into it, and then inverted it so that it's inputting the LV and outputting the MV, I would think that would be the best route for us to go, I should think. Let me mess around with this off camera for a little bit, and I'm going to get this set up, and we'll come back and look into using it. So I'm gonna mess around with it. I'll show you guys what I do, what I figure out doing off camera. I may actually test it in the test world too. That would actually be a good idea. So I'll be back in just a little bit, and we'll resume with setting this up.